with inspirational guests from across the world. This is Inspire Radio.
So you're listening to Inspire Radio. You know, we love to bring you great guests from across the world, sometimes local to us as well. So it's you never know where we might be. And today I'm joined by Jen Edwards. Now, Jen is an intuitive energy healer. How are you, Jen?
Oh, hi, Steve. I'm amazing. Thanks. I'm just so excited to be here. I'm really, really, really chuffed. I'm super excited. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. Very well indeed. It's been a good week. But here we are talking to you about energy healing, finding out a lot more about what you do. So here we go. Tell us about yourself and what do you do? How did you get involved?
Okay. Sure. Well, I am an intuitive energy healing facilitator, as you said. And I do a form of energy work called the emotion and body codes, which are designed to help identify and correct energy imbalances that can cause all sorts of physical and emotional problems for us. So a lot of this deals with the health of the energy body. And what we do is we release old trapped emotional baggage that no longer serves you. We correct things like blocked chakras, we balance meridians, and we do lots more. For the health of your physical body, what we do is we look at things like possible toxins, nutritional deficiencies, structural imbalances that can be causing physical illness, like, for example, headaches or digestive issues or back pain or neck pain. I also help release issues like nosebleeds, insomnia, behavioral issues in children, bladder incontinence, IBS, and so on. Wow. And I absolutely love the challenge of figuring out tough issues that no doctor seems to be able to budge. I love taking these on to see how we can help shift people out of pain and into peace.
Cool. So just before we just talk about that emotional baggage then, so is this the way you're describing that, is that a bit of hands-on healing? Is it a bit of research into diet and nutrition? Is it, or a combination of both?
Well, okay, that's a great question, and absolutely none of the above.
Okay.
So what it is if you like, I'll build an energy bridge between me and you. If I were working with you, I'd build a kind of energy bridge between us.
Okay.
I work remotely, and I use that bridge to talk to your higher self and find out what it is that we need to release from your subconscious and your conscious bodies in order to allow you to move forward into that space of peace and wellness.
Right. Okay. So, Jen, why do you say that there's emotional baggage contributing to issues like digestive issues and headaches or back pain then?
Well, I guess I say that, Steve, because I now have been doing this for a while, and I always keep records. So when I do a healing session, I make a record of it. I make a written record, which I then send the client after the session is done. And if I look through my records, I've noticed so far when I review my records that there are repetitive patterns popping up for clients. Let's say I have several clients who come to me for insomnia or for headaches or for UTIs or incontinence or digestive troubles or food cravings or back pain or even coughing. What I find is that there are threads, there are kind of common threads that run through them, and that every client is unique and special, but we seem to have patterns that we lay down. So I could talk to you, for example, what I know about back pain so far. And what I've found about back pain, and this is what I know so far, and I'm learning all the time. So, there's often unexpected things that pop up for me that I find that are different. But generally, I found that 80 to 85% back pain has its roots in trapped emotions. So trapped emotions happen when we have some kind of event or life shock event that triggers our amygdala to fire. And we don't process the resulting feelings or emotions. We prefer to squash them down and ignore them. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's a bit like the analogy of taking a breath in and then holding on to it, forgetting to exhale.
Not a good thing to do.
Not a good thing to do. So if we look at lower back pain, for example, we find that there are trapped emotions such as, I'm just going to refer to my list now, might be humiliation, jealousy, longing, lust, overwhelm, might be things like blaming, dread, fear, peeved, unsupported. lots and lots of trapped emotions. There's more than I'm talking about. I'm just giving you a few. Mm-hmm. What happens is they get trapped in the urinary system, in the glands and the sexual organs. Those are the ones I just talked about are typical to the glands and organs that we have in the lower half of our trunk. So what happens is these trapped emotions, if you like, they displace the organ, they displace the sexual organs, or they displace the bladder, and they sort of push it a bit out of space. If you think about them, they're energy, and they're sort of little balls of energy. I'll talk about that a bit later. And what happens is that these then push the root chakra out of balance. And the root chakra is one of 7 energy wheels that we have, and 6 of them are running along our spine. They're attached to our spine. And the root chakra is the one right at the bottom of our spine, sort of between our legs, associated with safety, stability, and sexuality. And what I found here is something that absolutely blew me away when I first discovered this. I was thunderstruck. So it's a proximity effect. And the proximity effect is a chemistry and physics term which I've found is perfectly accurate to my own observations. The proximity effect refers to how a single imbalance can create other imbalances around it, sometimes in a chain reaction outcome. So, for example, then, we've talked about the trapped emotions, which can imbalance an organ, or they can imbalance a gland or a meridian. And these can then influence the chakra, the root chakra. And the root chakra, in turn, has a proximity knock-on effect on the spine. And I've seen it on the spine. I've seen it on the pelvic girdle, on, the hips, where the hips have been out of alignment because of trapped emotions and because of the root chakra being in a state of imbalance. And what happens is that when we release these trapped emotions, the organ or the gland is able to heal itself. And sometimes there might be a misalignment in one of the spinal, in the vertebra, and then I energetically realign that, or I realign the hip girdle, and doing that releases the lower back pain. And that's been my finding so far. And I know that it's very woo-woo, and I know it's very different, but it's really, really cool that you can help people who have back pain by looking at this and by releasing these things, and that you can then allow the body to heal in terms of lower back pain. And we have the same with upper back pain, exactly the same principle. We have trapped emotions such as anxiety, despair, disgust, nervousness, anger, bitterness, depression, and they all live, or they tend to live, in the spleen, the pancreas, the gallbladder, and the colon, the transverse colon. And these then, what happens is the organs get out of alignment, and then what happens is they then have a knock-on effect on the muscles that are associated with those organs. And you guessed it, the muscles are all in the mid to the upper back. And then the mid to the upper back muscles are painful, and that's your upper back pain. And that's, that's just what happens.
Cool. Well, Jen, I understand this as well, because it's going back a few years now, and I had a problem with my liver, and they couldn't find anything wrong with it from a medical test perspective. Okay, and I actually went to see a healer who knew nothing about this. And they just laid me down, and they were just talking to me. And they didn't touch me, but they just put my hands over my body, and they went, "Could you just tell me then what's been wrong with your liver?" And they were telling me about this, and they explained. And why it's resonating with me, because they said to me they wouldn't find anything wrong because the liver is where you hold your stress. And when you hold your stress, it throws your liver into a malfunction. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. 100% wow. That's so awesome. I'm so pleased you shared that story. Thank you. Because it's true. I mean, you can, without any medical intervention, because the doctors simply can't find it. They don't know what's wrong because they're not working on this kind of level. Look, don't get me wrong. I think doctors are fantastic. I have huge respect for Western medicine. I would never dream of telling people to do things not do things that their doctors have told them to do. But I do think that energy medicine very much was able to work hand in hand with Western medicine and do things like you've just told that amazing story about your liver. I think that is just stunning.
Cool. Well, look, Jen, we'll take a break. We'll talk some more in a minute and find out a little bit more about what you do. This is Inspire Radio. We are your truly feel-good radio station. Feel-good music by day, relaxing music by night, and also inspirational guests from around the world.
This is Inspire Radio.
Everything begins with an idea. But how do you turn the idea into a brand? Brand to Market's Pick and Mix brand and marketing solutions provide the services you need to help your business thrive at a cost that won't break the bank. For more information, visit brandtomarket.uk or call 07507 786 590. That's brandtomarket.uk or call 07507 786 590. Turn your idea into a brand with Brand to Market.
With feel-good music by day, relaxing music by night. This is Inspire Radio. Be happy. Be inspired.
So welcome back to Inspire Radio. We're bringing you inspirational guests from around the world. And today I'm talking to intuitive energy healer Jen Edwards. We've been talking about emotional baggage. We've been talking about, well, pain, lower back, upper back, wherever it happens, actually, it doesn't matter. Once it's there, and how Jen helps release on that. But Jen, you mentioned digestive issues as well. Tell me a little bit more about that then.
Okay, so again, and this is evidence that I've accumulated so far and that I've documented in my healing case studies and newsletters. And by the way, if you're interested in these, I write them every couple of weeks. I write case studies about people who might be exactly like you. And anyway, they're on my blog at www.jenedwards.com. And that's Jen with a G because I'm Genevieve. Anyway, okay, so in terms of digestive issues, I've found that there is a huge connection between emotional anxieties and gut or stomach problems. So you know what, these are even embedded in our language. So how often do we talk about a gut-wrenching experience, or about when we're fearful or anxious, we feel nauseous, or we have butterflies in our stomach? We're very clearly linking emotional states of being into our bodies with this kind of language. And interestingly, from my perspective as a body code practitioner, I'm finding that things like anxiety and despair and disgust and nervousness and worry, lack of control, failure, these things are all lodged in the stomach or the spleen. While we have trapped emotions like insecurity, effort unreceived, heartache, vulnerability, forlorn, abandonment, lost. We have these living, if you like, or lodged in the small intestine or heart. So what I know from my case study so far, and what seems to be working for me when I'm helping people to release indigestion or acid reflux or even IBS, that they often have these kinds of negative emotions stored in their digestive systems. And I've also seen heart walls made of these emotions. And when we release it from the heart, we get relief from acid indigestion and from heartburn. There's another phrase we often use without really thinking about it. Heartburn. Literally, it's a burning sensation in the heart. And I've found in my work that I've done that heartburn is often fueled by emotional energies like abandonment, betrayal, forlorn, love, unreceived. And then what happens is we form energetic walls, which we call heart walls. Our subconscious builds them around our hearts to try and protect our hearts from being hurt and from being pained again. So words and phrases like, for example, a blow to the heart or heartache, all pepper our language. But I think we're so used to them that we just don't notice them anymore or see any significance in them.
Jen, when you say you see this energy, do you actually see the energy then? Or is that just a term of phrase? You're just aware, and I don't mean that negatively when I say you're just aware. You know, it's like you talked earlier, didn't you, about the opening, about that energy between you and things like that. So you're feeling this.
Yes, I feel it. I'm what's called clairsentient. and I am not a person who can see is something else, clear something else. What I do is I feel it in my body. I feel your emotions in my body, and often when I connect with you and I am working with you, and I come upon things that happened to you when you were 3 or 5 or 7 or 9. Very often I'm so connected to you that I almost have to protect myself, because I start to cry. If something has happened to you, I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened. I don't know what caused you to have that feeling of overwhelm when you were 6 or 7, say. I have no idea what the incident was, but I can feel the emotional charge of it. And so I'm a feeler. I'm not a seer. I'm a feeler.
When you're working with somebody, and okay, you're feeling this, but would you? I don't know. I'm exploring. Would you actually say, if you're working with me, would you say, so Steve, tell me about what happened around the age of 7, if you're feeling that? Would they say something to you around that age, or where does the age come from, if that makes sense?
Well, the age comes from, and thanks, these are great questions. Thanks so much for being so interested. Okay, so the age comes from, so when I connect with you, I know that you are in your 50s, say. And that gives me a ballpark, because then let's say I identify a heart wall of effort unreceived. Then I say, when did this happen to you? And I know that you are 50, so I know that I can either say, was it earlier than 25 or was it later than 25? To be honest, I'm intuitive to the point now that very often I can go straight to it. I kind of count. It's quite weird. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Oh, you were 9. and so 9 to 10, and that's a year that it happened. And then I'll ask, where is this living? And I'll confirm it's living in your heart or in your small intestines or in your stomach, wherever it's living. And then I don't ask you, because very often I think that people have horrible things that happen to them, and they don't necessarily want to reveal what those things are. And some people do and some people don't, but it doesn't matter, because what matters is that we have found it, and we bring it almost to a level of consciousness by identifying it, verbalizing it, and saying you were 9 to 10. We bring it to a level of consciousness, and then we release it. So now what might happen for you is, when after the session you might go away and you might think, oh, you know what? And you might suddenly have a memory and you think, you know what, that's when Uncle Fred died and all those awful things happened in our family. Or you might not. And it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter whether you tell me or if you don't tell me. What matters is we release it. That's what matters.
So let's just talk about that for a minute. So when someone releases it, do they actually say something that I release this emotion, or do they verbalize that? For example, I release this emotion I'm feeling in my heart, or.
Okay. Another great question, and I think it's also one that a lot of people are very, very curious about because it's so different, isn't it? It's a different thing. Okay. So I'm connected to you energetically, right? So I am acting as your proxy, if you like. I'm acting as you. I'm using my body to answer closed questions about your body. So I can't ask questions. I can't ask anything that is not in your highest good. I can't ask anything that is invasive or that is private to you, which is why I don't know what the event was. I just know that at 9 you had an issue with love unreceived or whatever it was. So because I'm connected to you, what I do, I then release on your behalf. Now, because all of my sessions are done on Zoom, and they always were done on Zoom, because this has always been for me a remote healing methodology. So what we do is we do it together. So I say to my clients, when you start, I have a fancy magnet, right? Which I'm picking up now and rattling around.
Wow.
I have a fancy magnet, but you have magnetic fingertips, as do I. And so if I don't have my magnet with me, very often I'll use my fingertips. So because I'm proxying for you, I run my magnet over my main meridian, which runs from my upper lip up across my nose, down the back, around my head, down the back of my spine, up between my legs, my mid-center line of my trunk, between my breasts and to my lower lip. That's my main meridian, and that's also your main meridian. And your meridian it's like a river of energy, and I talk about it as being like the River Nile, and all these other meridians feed into the River Nile. So when we use a magnet, we use your magnetic fingertips. So you do it on your side of the Zoom camera, and I do it on my side of the Zoom camera. And I use the magnet to magnify my intention. And as I do, I say, with love and the very best intentions, we release from you this heart wall of abandonment. We release it and we bring balance to all parts of your being. And I have a funny story here because I have two marvelous clients. So one woman I was working with in Switzerland last night, and as soon as I start this, Steve, she starts to yawn. And she cracks her jaw. Her jaw just about comes dislocated because she's yawning so hard. And because she's now releasing the energy. And I have another client in the States who burps. She burps and she burps and she belches and she burps and she can't help it. She just belches through the whole thing. And because it's how she releases. So even though I'm releasing it as her proxy, she's also processing the energy. And people do different things, depending on who they are. And so they release it. They release it as soon as my client starts to burp or to yawn. I say, oh, good, we're releasing now.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating and amazing.
Yeah.
So, look, we'll take another break and then we'll talk some more, just a little bit about the world we're in now and COVID-19 and how you're helping people with that, maybe. Let's go with that. So, you're listening to Inspire Radio. It is Steve talking to Jen Edwards. We are talking about intuitive energy healing. Absolutely fascinating. I look forward to finding out some more in just a while.
This is Inspire Radio.
Attention, please. We at HealthSpan would like to tell you something that quite possibly you didn't already know. Not all supplements are created equal. I know. Who'd have thought? We travel the entire globe to find the best ingredients for our vitamins and supplements. From the southern slopes of India for our turmeric to the cold, crisp seas of Greenland for our cod liver oil. Because that's the HealthSpan way. Well, there you go. It's not every day you learn something new, is it? We're HealthSpan. That's healthspan.co.uk. Vitamins and supplements. In-store or direct to your door.
With inspirational guests from across the world. This is Inspire Radio.
So welcome back. It's Inspire Radio. It's Steve. If you're just joining us, you have missed a fascinating 20 or so minutes as I'm talking to Jen Edwards about intuitive energy healing. Absolutely fascinating. Learning so much. Yes, exploring so much as well. So interestingly, you said, Jen, that working on Zoom is not new to you. It's new to many people who are absolutely adapting. So within this, let's call it the COVID-19 world that we're in then, how has it affected your business at all? Are you seeing more clients coming your way? What's happening?
Well, look, I've been incredibly lucky. I've been so blessed. I am truly so grateful. I've always worked online, and I work with people all over the world, which I've always done. And because I'm working with energy, I make an energetic connection with you on a Zoom call or remotely. I worked with a gentleman in America who I never met on erectile dysfunction. And I never met him. He used to email me what he wanted me to work with. So I can do that. I can work remotely, or we can do a WhatsApp call or a Zoom call or whatever. And that's the same as I do with my weekly healing circle. I have a healing circle where I am grateful and lucky because I heal many people remotely all at once. And it's a really affordable way for people to experience energy healing and to see if it works for them and to see if they resonate with it. Again, the details are on www.jenedwards.com. So as far as COVID goes, Steve, it has no effect. And in fact, talking about COVID, I'm really curious to try my healing methods on people with COVID or to help people who have that horrible post-COVID syndrome, which is just so dreadful, and we're starting to hear so much about it. And because COVID is so mysterious, I would just love to give that a shot. So That's the only thing that's really changed for me in terms of COVID, is I'm just waiting for someone with COVID to knock on my door and ask for help.
Well, hey, Jen, following this, you may be inundated. Oh, yeah, and I can just, I've felt the emotion just there as you were talking as well. That was coming from the heart. That was absolutely awesome. So, is your circle? Did you say it's a weekly circle?
Yes, I do it on Thursdays. I do it at about noon on a Thursday, and I connect with a group. So what happens is people, I don't do what we're doing now. We're having a chat and we're having a lovely discussion and I can see your face. That doesn't happen. I connect with you remotely because I have several people in my healing circle and each person comes with a different issue. So currently I'm working with a dog who has barking issues. I'm working with someone who has asthma, and I'm helping her to get ease from her asthma. I'm working with someone who has hip, neck, and bilateral hip, and neck pain. I'm working with someone who's got issues going on in her mouth. She's got tremendous pain in her mouth and all sorts of funny things happening there. I work with many people on many of one of the things that I had great success with on this was TV snacking. So one of my clients, parks in front of the TV in the evening and then can't stop snacking. And, we released that for her. So I can do anything in the circle. And I just connect with you as a group. And I ask for help before I connect with you. Mm-hmm. And then I get sent the help. And I work with you for about an hour, and then I send you a report afterwards. And then I wait for the feedback. Yeah, it's very cool. It's amazing.
So again, when you're asking for help, for those who are not probably sort of, when I say into this or want to understand it more, is that help? I want to use the phrase teachers, whatever. I don't know what the phrase is. Is that from people that surrounding you at a higher conscious level that you connect with?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
100%. Yes, I ask for help from God. I always ask for help from God. I didn't used to believe there was a God, but now I know there is, because of what I'm allowed to do, because of the amount of help I'm allowed to give people. I know that there is a God. Wow.
Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. God, absolutely fascinating. Wow. So how can people get in touch then, Jen?
Well, you can contact me through my website, which is www.jenedwards.com, and that's Jen with a G. You can email me at info@jenedwards.com, and that's G for Jen. You can look at my Facebook page, which is Jen Edwards Holistic Healing. And that's about it, I think. I've got a, yeah.
That's about it. You've got a fair few things there. That's absolutely awesome. Well, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, and wish you well for what you're doing for the rest of your day. And, hopefully catch up with you again soon.
Thank you, Steve. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
This is Inspire Radio.
This is Inspire Radio. We are your truly feel-good radio station, playing you feel-good music by day, relaxing music by night, inspirational quotes, inspirational book of the week, and inspirational guests from around the world. Now, here's the thought. If you love what we do, why not tell a friend? Why not tell 10 friends? Just send them our website address, inspireradio.co.uk, and they can listen live wherever they may be in the world. This is Inspire Radio. We are your truly feel-good radio station. Be happy. Be inspired.
Inspire Radio.